Hello, I'm Tom Bailey, and in today's episode, I'm honored to be joined by Kristin Molenaar, who is an entrepreneur enthusiast and the CEO of YesBoss, who lives by the mantra work less and make more. So, Kristin, hello, and a very warm welcome to today's episode.
Thank you for having me, Tom. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. And whereabouts are you in the world right now?
I am in Scottsdale, Arizona, so I'm in the States.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And let me just get into the subject of Kristin a little bit more then. So, Kristin enjoys helping entrepreneurs ditch vanity metrics for true profitable connections. She helps her clients to elevate their visibility and influence as podcast guests so that they can scale their business without becoming a full-time marketer. The title for today's episode is How to Become a Profitable Podcast Guest. And Kristin is going to show us how to do that in just 7 minutes. So question number one today is, who are your ideal clients?
My ideal clients are entrepreneurs that typically serve an entrepreneurial audience. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of us.
Yeah,
For me, it looks like service providers. It could also be agency owners, coaches, and consultants, but
great.
specifically serving the entrepreneur audience.
Fantastic. And when you think of this specific audience, what is the biggest challenge that they typically face?
The challenge that they face is they are constantly working in the background to try to establish themselves as a credible expert. So,
Mhm.
this usually looks like pushing out a ton of content, really feeling like they're battling with the algorithms, trying to meet people and attract their ideal client. And so, at the core of that, it's really that the struggle is a lack of visibility and a credibility. So they're trying to do it all themselves. And it can be really frustrating to be the only one that's trying to brag about yourself and get people to listen.
Got it. Perfect. And what impact does that typically have on their business?
Well, it can be demoralizing, I
Yeah.
think, to feel like you're doing all the things to try to get your name out there and feeling like you're trying to tell people, hey, I'm good at what I do. You should work with me or you should listen to me. That can
Yeah.
be kind of demoralizing. And for me, I feel like when I was struggling with that, it really gave me a lack of confidence. And, that ripples into finances. Like financially, our businesses aren't doing as well as we would like them to do because we're not gaining that traction that we need in order to, add to the bottom line.
Yeah. Got it. And ultimately, the impact may be that you have to give up on your entrepreneurial dream and go back to get a job, right?
Ooh,
Yeah.
let's not
We, d-
say that.
we don't want to do
Yeah.
that. And so given that, and that's what we're trying to avoid here, what is one piece of valuable advice that you might give to somebody to really help them solve that problem?
I would say that it took me a long time to learn this, but in hindsight, if I were to go back, like the lesson that I have to pass forward is don't be a silo. Don't
Hmm.
do your business all by yourself. You need to facilitate ways to get out there and meet other entrepreneurs. This doesn't necessarily mean go out and meet potential clients all the time. Sometimes it just means meeting other people that are other entrepreneurs so that you can be a valuable asset to one another. I'm a firm believer that business is built really well on genuine relationships. So the
Yeah.
sooner you can get out there and forge relationships with people, the better off your business is going to be. And your mental game is going to be improved
Mhm.
as well.
Amazing. Thanks so much. And finally, what is one valuable free resource that you can share to help people with that problem?
Yeah, so I have a very quick 10-minute masterclass that covers the 3 steps to increasing your visibility and credibility as a podcast guest.
Hmm.
This is the strategy that I use to meet people. So, I'm able to get in front of a new audience, I'm able to meet another entrepreneur, and it increases my visibility because I've been featured on a podcast. So, that's what I teach, that's what I do.
Amazing. And where can people get hold of that resource?
It's at yesbossva.com.
Fantastic. YesBossVA.com. I'll post that link below this episode so you can click that and go and download that guide. Okay, so moving on to a slightly separate topic. And the next question is, what would you say is the greatest failure that you've ever made, either in life or business? And what did you learn from it?
I think I already kind of alluded to this. When I
Hmm.
started my business, I spent 14 months being an utter failure as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I thought that I had a lot of transferable skills because I was a great employee. So I thought I would be a great, entrepreneur. I thought it was all about put your head down and get the work done.
Hmm.
And in hindsight, I really realized that putting my head down and getting the work done was actually counterproductive to what I
Yeah.
needed to do. as a business owner, I needed to get out and I needed to meet new people. I needed to talk to people that were in my space. I needed to create relationships so that my business could grow. And so that's my biggest piece of advice. That's what I would change about my journey. I would meet others more quickly.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And a great way to do that is through getting on podcasts as a guest, I'm sure.
It is, yes.
Right. And the last question from me today is, what is one question that I should have asked you that will also add great value to our audience today?
Yeah, I guess you could have asked me, why I'm so passionate about being a podcast guest. I think that
Hmm.
that is something I guess I haven't really touched on.
Yeah.
And
And why is that?
yeah, so, I realized that I am a relationship person at my core. So once I started meeting people, things started growing in my business. But when I started becoming a podcast guest, I realized it was really like networking on steroids.
Hmm.
So rather than just like meeting something and feeling like I really quickly needed to tell them, why I was great at what I did and why they needed to hire me, I was able to get in a room with somebody who was asking me questions about what I do, and I could share in a way that was, in service. And so being of service in on a podcast platform means that you're getting visibility. It's like this inherent like environment where you get to be of service, but at the same time, your visibility is increased. And then the credibility of being a podcast guest is just like another layer. So for me, it's all about seeing this as networking on steroids. And that's why I love it. Like, I love meeting people, and this is a just even better way to do that.
Fantastic. Love that little strapline, networking on steroids. And I think I may change the podcast title to that.
I
So,
love it.
Kristin, thank you so much again for your time today and for sharing such great value with our audience.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.